Then what if a client would go round and round and round? And technically, in a session, is there any precise time we should come up to the summary? Like, is there so that we keep the client concise and?
Okay, so there are two things that can happen. Actually, Anita, this would also probably answer your question. Okay, so you will notice there are three types of clients who will come to you for sessions. The first type of client is someone who has a lot to speak, right? So they are going to come. When they start talking, they will start talking. They may also even start crying, and they're in a phase where they first want someone to hear them out. Okay, many a times when they're talking, they also know what they're talking is exaggerated. But in that moment, the idea is not for someone to rationalize and speak to me and help me understand. The idea is, I want to speak something. Can you hear that out? That's one category of clients that you will get. Second category of clients will be clients who will come and tell you, I don't know, where do I start from? So the first category has a lot to say. The second category has no idea what to say. Right? And the third category is of a client who will come and have some idea about what they want to say. Right? So what you've practiced with each other right now is actually the third category. A client is coming, they have a rough idea of what their challenge is, what their problem is. And when you ask them, would you be able to describe it to me? They really don't get into long stories, but they're able to give it to you in like 10-15 minutes of conversation. And then you're able to summarize that and put it into the format. Clear till here? Now, to answer Anita's question in terms of what happens if you have the first category of client, where the client is actually in an is in an emotional state where they need their emotions to also be acknowledged. Right? Now, this is a tricky bit. Tricky, not in the way we work, but tricky classically, because what do you mean by acknowledge the emotion? Define that for me.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what they're going through. I'm not agreeing with their thought process. I'm understanding their feelings. The feelings is okay.
Think about it truly. While again, I know what I'm going to say is going to be contrary to what a lot of us probably have studied in our colleges and what we have been doing. But in the first session, when the client starts talking about their problems, can we really say that we understand their feeling completely? I may intellectually understand that. That's a separate thing. Okay. But can I actually be there presenting to the client a scenario where I completely understand what they are going through and yet be able to question them?
No, I'm not understanding what they're going through. I can understand what they're feeling. Means they're feeling anxious. I understand that. I mean, I can understand the feelings within you.
Correct. But that, if that's the idea, that to the moment you ask them to convert that into I feel dash 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 about dash 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 when dash dash dash. You have literally not just acknowledged their feelings, you have actually helped them put their feelings in a very structured format such that they are also able to understand it.
Okay.
So if the acknowledgement is to the extent that I want the client to realize that I understand what they are going through.
No, what I was feeling through this process is, it is very technical when you were doing it. There was no emotion. If I was a client and if this was a process that my counselor was doing, I would feel very disconnected, because the person is not, I'm feeling that the person has already a structure and he's just trying to put it, or I'm not getting that emotion.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
am I right?
No, so that's what I'm saying. There are different kinds of clients, right?
Okay,
so in the third category of clients who have already come to you with a clear understanding of what they want to work with, too much beating around the bush also frustrates them. कि मतलब आप सीधे काम पे आओ ना, मुझे बार बार क्यों बोल रहे हो? I understand, because I'm not, I want to see whether you can work with me or not, right? So in the third category of clients, trying to empathize too much can actually backfire. Okay. Is the idea clear till here? But yeah, to the extent where that the client needs to feel that you understand them.
Okay.
To that extent, I agree, but that the statement does, because actually before the client is saying that, let's say the client comes and say, I feel very frustrated. Actually, client also does not have clear understanding of what are they frustrated about right now. Many a times clients will come and tell you, मतलब होता है, anxiety होती है, frustration होता है, पता नहीं क्यों हो रहा है.
Okay.
So when you ask them to put it in that format, more than you understanding it, they begin to realize, you know what, this makes sense. And that realization is so powerful that everything else is literally bypassed because they have a clearer understanding of their problem, which they did not have till today. Okay. Now, the reason to understand this is at times as a practitioner, this is our need to know more. See, there is one way during the process in one line, I tell the client that, all right, I understand what you're going through. Can you please put it in this format? That is fine. But then there is another thing. Do I need to ask for more details so that the client feels I understand? Now, these are two different things. There is one that I've been able to convey my understanding to the client in words, through body language, through my tone, and through the summary of the statement. And the second, do I need to collect more detail and go back into the history? And these are two different things that you have to keep in mind. The reason I'm saying these are two different things is because it depends upon the client. And that's why I categorize the clients in 3 categories. Is this clear till here for all of us?
Yes.
Just remember that at times, it's not necessary for us to know all the details about the client to begin with, because that can overwhelm the client and you both. There's too much of information that is not structured. Now, once the client describes the statement and they give you the feeling in I feel dash 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 about dash 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 when dash dash dash, at any place where you feel you don't have clarity, like in Prapti's case, when I read the part, I anticipate my future. Obviously, it was not very clear for me. So you're always free to ask them and explore that after that. So it's not that you are not supposed to explore it. I'm just saying there's a place for you to be able to explore that. Is the idea clear?
So Nitin, you think you'll be able to reach, suppose in an hour session, technically an hour, right? In a session, you think so technically the goal of the counselor is to reach the summary at least in the first session?
In the first session, reach the summary and the outcome.
Oh, outcome as well.
Okay. Now, before I reach there, let me give you the first and the second scenario. So third scenario, we've spoken about, you've worked with each other, right? Now, when you have a client who comes and tells you about their emotions and they're overflowing with emotions, right? There, if you were to try and do this process, it will not work. Because there, what Anita was saying is true, that in that moment, the client is looking for an emotional connect. Right? They're really not looking for someone to give them, to help them. They're first looking for someone to emotionally understand them. Probably they've tried expressing their frustration to other people who have not understood it, who have directly tried jumping to giving them suggestions or helping them, which kind of has not worked for them. Right? Now, in which case, when you're doing the session, you have to realize that the client's focus right now is to be able to vent out, to be able to share. During that process, don't interfere in between. Okay. When they're talking, you can just carry on a conversation with them so that they can talk about more and more things. But before you end the session, you will then tell the client that now that you've told me a lot of things, okay, before we close the session, would you be able to summarize this for me? They summarize this. Now, would you be able to put it in this format? And they put it in that format. So eventually you're bringing it back to the same format. But what you've done is, because the client is in an emotionally charged state, you want them to have the opportunity to say and to feel that you are connected with them at an emotional level. Right? And therefore you're allowing them to have that conversation in a slightly extended manner. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Anita, does that make sense?
Yes, very much.
In this case, you're not reaching the goal. I mean, you're not reaching the...
We will still reach the goal, because once you've defined the outcome, reaching the goal is 2 minutes after that. That doesn't take too much of a time. Okay. Anyone else who has any question about the first and the third one, and then I'll come to the second one.
Suppose the session is 1 hour and the client is talking for 50 minutes, supposedly, going on and on and on and on, okay, all over the place. We are in midst of that asking a little more questions in order to sort of understand that maybe one aspect more. So asking questions is okay in between, right? Asking questions to know the
asking questions is okay. So alright. So I'll say it this way. When you're working with clients, always understand what is the objective of the session that you're working with. That objective you need to know, because if you have that objective in your head, your questioning becomes more, it will be more natural. Right? So if you have a client in front of you who's in an emotionally charged state, your actual objective is not in that moment to really be able to help them resolve the problem. Okay. In that moment, your objective is, can I help the client feel that I'm emotionally connected to them? You're not even looking for clarity of information, because this is other cheezein. I have had clients who have come in the first session, they've cried their heart out, they've vented out left, right and center, and in the next session they've come and told me na पिछले session में थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया था, मतलब इतनी बुरी situation भी नहीं है, but I kind of just flowed with the emotions, right? So when the client is in that highly emotional state, they are subjective. While we are working with subjectivity, the idea is for us to at least help the client first reach a state where they can look at their own situation objectively, right? And when they're venting out, आप अगर उनसे ज़्यादा question भी पूछोगे, ज़्यादा clarification भी मांगोगे, तो एक you're creating a break in their flow of emotions. And second, whatever they're telling you may still not be in sync with what they would tell you in the next session, because they may actually be in an exaggerated emotional state right now. So technically, from a therapy point of view, that information will not really be as useful for you. You need to listen to the client because the client needs to feel heard. That's true. Okay. But it's not that that information per se is going to make a lot of difference in your therapy.
So, Nitin, this means that when we have a very vocal client, so the first step would be let the client just vent out, and you're basically there listening to the all venting out process. And also, like you said, that you shouldn't be reaffirming at every state, because that means that you're so it might give a client the idea that, okay, so my client also believes in what I believe in, so maybe it's the right thing that I'm believing in.
Correct.
So
you want to be careful about that.
Yeah. Okay.
So Nikita, perfect. I'm coming to that second type in a moment right now. So, but first, there are two classification. See, when a client comes and talks to you a lot, there are two reasons for this. One is either they emotionally need to vent out, which is what we have covered till now. The second category is where the client is not emotionally venting out. It's not that they're really crying or they're breaking down or so on, but they're just trying too much to explain the same thing. So it's just going round and round in circles, not from an emotional point of view, but simply from a clarification and explanation point of view.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Now, in the first case, where the client is venting out because they need to vent out, they're emotionally charged, allow them to speak. Let them express their emotions and so on. In case where the client is trying to over-explain, okay, whenever you have a chance, ask them to summarize. So they're trying to over-explain because they think you have not understood. Okay. Now, if you can bring them to that statement, I feel about when, then they are very clear that you have understood them. So the way I work with this is, if a client comes and is going on and on without being emotionally involved in that conversation, in the sense that they are not really emotionally breaking down, okay, but it's more intellectual explanation that they are giving me, I would wait for 15 minutes for them to say what they have said. When they take a pause to breathe, and there would be a time when the client will take a pause so that they can take a breath. That's the time I tell the client, so before you go ahead, can you summarize this much for me? They would summarize it. And then I'll tell them, can you put it in this format? They put it in this format. And then I ask them, does this define the problem correctly? If they say yes, after that, they would not go into over explanation, because now they understand that you understand them. Right? If you have a client who is not waiting for a breath, which may happen in some cases, sit with a glass of water. When they're having a conversation, after 15 minutes, take a glass, have a sip. When you have that sip, because they're looking at you and they're talking constantly, unko 1 second ke liye प्यास लगेगी. And you can tell them, would you, if you want, just take a breath and have a sip of water. So then they will pause, and that gives you the opportunity to tell them, can you summarize this for me?
I think this really, really works well.
Is this clear for all of you?
Yes.
Right? Now, this is for the first type of clients. So let me just put it on the screen share.
Yeah.
Clear? Any questions still here? Only second one is left. Is the first and the third clear for all of you?
Yes.
All of us, right? Now, when a client comes and tells you, I don't know where to begin from, how do you work with them? Any of you who can give me?
I think Nitin, these are the clients who've been referred and sent. So they're usually the ones like, मुझे नहीं पता कि मैं यहाँ क्यों हूँ. I don't know what to say.
So which would be one, people who have been sent to you. What else? There are also places where people actually genuinely want help. They come to you, but they are like, I know there's something wrong. I can feel it, but I don't know how do I describe it to you. At times there's
Maybe we can ask them.
Mhm.
Maybe we can ask them what they are feeling right now, the current emotion that they are feeling right now, something like that. So they start with some.
Okay, that's one way to work with it. That we can ask them to describe what their current emotions are and see if we can work backwards from there. Right? What else?
Some
Try
icebreaking.
to ask about themselves. I mean, just generally start the very slow conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I actually do is I tell them, so if I'm working with a client and a client tells me I don't know where to begin from, I would tell the client that before we talk about your challenges and your problems and the concerns that you want to work with, I want you to do an activity. Would you be willing to? The client generally says yes, because there they don't have to, in that moment, anything that you will ask them to do except for describing their problem, they'll probably say yes for. Okay. Now, the activity for me is what we call as an abstract metaphor.